All right.
asking that
Can I
question.
get everyone's attention, please? All right. So this upcoming presentation is testable material, so please take notes, pay attention, and just go to the bathroom if you have to. You guys are grown adults.
Hello, I'm Lead Researcher Adams, and today we will be continuing your Site-63 Induct briefing. This PowerPoint is on SCP-303. Before we get into it, I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you for making it past the first stage of training. The work is only beginning, but I want you to be proud of where you're at. Now, let's move on to the objectives. So the objectives of this training would be to understand some of the unique protocols we have at Site-63, to understand the different object classes, to understand the behaviors of SCP-303, as well as the dangers, and also some lessons learned alongside that. Starting with the object classes. The first object class is Safe. So a Safe class SCP object are anomalies that are easily and safely contained. This is often due to the fact that the Foundation has researched the SCP well enough that containment does not require significant resources, or that the anomaly requires a specific and conscious activation or trigger. Classifying an SCP as safe, however, does not mean that handling or activating it does not pose a threat. Further in your training, depending on the department you are assigned, you will see many such SCPs. Moving forward with Euclid. Euclid class SCP object are anomalies that require more resources to contain completely, or where containment isn't always reliable. Usually this is because the SCP is insufficiently understood, or inherently unpredictable. Euclid is the object class with the greatest scope, and it's usually a safe bet that an SCP will be this class if it doesn't easily fall into any of the other standard object classes. As a note, any SCP that's autonomous or sapient is generally considered as Euclid, due to the inherent unpredictability of an object that can act or think on its own. Again, meet after this for your department assignments. The last object class that we are covering today is Keter. Keter class SCPs are anomalies that are exceedingly difficult to contain consistently or reliably, with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. The Foundation often can't contain these SCPs well due to not having a solid understanding of the anomaly, or lacking the technology to properly contain or counter it. A Keter SCP does not mean the SCP is dangerous, just that it's simply very difficult or costly to contain. Each and every one of you should have all of these in your notes. It will be on further examinations. Moving on to the meat and potatoes of this training, SCP-303. SCP-303 has the object class of Euclid. A description of the anomaly. Witnesses describe SCP-303 as a nude, sexless, emaciated humanoid figure with reddish-brown skin. Instead of normal facial features, its head is dominated by an extremely large mouth, which bears a set of oversized human teeth. It continually vocalizes a wheezing noise, loud enough to be heard from the other side of most solid doors. All individuals who have had encounters with SCP-303 are capable of describing it in full, including individuals who have not physically seen any part of it. The behavior of SCP-303. SCP-303 will periodically materialize behind any closed door, hatch, or any other entryway barrier opposite a sentient observer, chosen by some unknown means. SCP-303 will then remain behind the door for an indeterminate amount of time. Any individual attempting to open the door or barrier experiences intense, paralyzing fear that lasts until SCP-303 dematerializes, either on its own or to avoid being directly seen by another observer. The source of this fear is not clear, but appears to be similar in nature to arachnophobia or ophidiophobia, originating on a preconscious genetic level. Analysis indicates that SCP-303 is not, in fact, purposefully inducing fear in the affected individuals. SCP-303 does not allow itself to come into direct visual contact with any observer, and has never allowed any one individual to view more than 10% of its form. When the door or other entryway barrier is partially or completely transparent, SCP-303 will materialize in an orientation that leaves 10% or less of its body visible, or causes effects of fog or frost on the transparent surface to achieve the same effect. If SCP-303 is approached from a direction in which there is not a solid object or door breaking the line of sight, it will dematerialize before direct visual contact is made. Now, the main reason for this training is that it can happen to you. Incident 303 TAC 1. Agent Crawford was showering in her private quarters bathroom when she became aware of the presence of SCP-303 on the opposite side of the shower curtain. It was wheezing extremely loudly. Startled by the discovery, she accidentally struck the shower curtain, causing it to sway outward. The curtain partially wrapped around SCP-303, revealing that it was less than 0.5 meters from the curtain, standing erect and facing the shower. Agent reports spending approximately the next 3 hours sobbing in the shower quietly, as to not disturb SCP-303. Agent reported that the wheezing sound stopped very suddenly, at which point in time she was able to exit the shower. Incident 303 TAC 3. Agent encountered SCP-303 inside the Site-63 second floor break room. He was attempting to obtain coffee creamer from the counter cabinet when he heard a loud wheezing emanating from the cabinet and was overtaken by overwhelming fear. Agent later reported that SCP-303 was huddled in the cabinet in the fetal position. Agent claimed to be certain of the information, despite failing to open the cabinet door. Later, when the cabinet was examined, one container of powdered coffee creamer was missing. Note: this is the first recorded instance of SCP-303 removing an object from the scene. Yes, I agree these incidents are creepy, but this next one is why this training is so important. Incident 303 TAC 6. Dr. was discovered dead from dehydration in a second-floor storage room. It is estimated that Dr. spent up to 5 days in the storage room before being discovered. A small 4x4 meter decompression chamber separated the storage room from the adjoining hallway. SCP-303 occupied the decompression chamber for the duration of Dr. isolation in the storage room, disallowing entry from either direction and making it impossible for Dr. to leave. This is why we have changed our protocols and how we do things here. We want to avoid any other casualties happening, so we take actions such as SCP-303 has not yet been known to travel beyond the boundaries of Site-63, the entire area of Site-63 is currently considered SCP-303's containment area. All rooms in Site-63 are to be altered where possible, so as to have 2 entrances separated by a distance of 10 meters or line of sight. Personnel are to be distributed evenly throughout the facility with available radio or intercom contact, so that encounters may be resolved quickly. Personnel who witness SCP-303 are to be submitted for immediate psychiatric evaluation. If you believe to have had an SCP-303 incident, please inform the closest security officer as possible. Now, moving back to our objectives. The objectives of this training were to understand some of the unique protocols of Site-63, to discuss object classes, talk about SCP-303's behaviors and dangers, as well as some lessons learned from this SCP. In your upcoming trainings, we will be covering your duty status information, assignment of departments, site etiquette. Will there be any questions? If so, direct them to the closest lead researcher or security officer. Thank you for your time.
Alright everybody, you're put on a 10-minute break. Go get some water, use the bathroom, and be here in 10 minutes for the continuation of your training.